So today we are going to start off in Chapter 2, Tutorial 1, and we're going to discuss a couple things about sketching in SolidWorks. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your SolidWorks is set to millimeters, grams, and seconds. We're going to open up a sketch in the front plane, and we're going to go up to our line drawing tool, and I'm just going to click on a line. Now, when we draw or sketch in SolidWorks, a few things that we need to remember: that everything that we do needs to have either a dimension or a relation or both in order for a sketch to become fully defined. As an example, I'm just going to freehand sketch out here, out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm just going to draw randomly a few lines just to show you some stuff and close some stuff out here. Now, I don't have relations. I have a relation here which makes this corner perpendicular, which means that I can't do anything with it. But if I were to get rid of this relation, well, then I can start moving this corner anywhere that I want to. Same thing with this line, because I can move this line straight up and down, and I can also move this point out here like so, because I don't have any relations to it. All right. So the main thing when you're sketching in SolidWorks is that you need to make sure that you lock everything into place and you have a fully defined sketch at the end, because if you don't, if you go back in and you do some editing, you're not paying attention, maybe you inadvertently move a corner even just a little bit, it can throw your sketch out of whack, and then any features that you have after that point will be affected. It can cause a cascading series of errors all the way down based off of everything that you've done after that. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some relations to these lines. I'm going to make this one horizontal. This one here I'll make vertical. I'm going to make this one horizontal. And I will make this one vertical. So now I have a rectangle. You can see that I have relations here. Now as I'm drawing, and I will show you an example again, as I draw, if I click here, as I'm drawing out, you'll see that yellow and black square. It's a yellow square with a little black line. That is letting me know that right now, as I am drawing, I have a horizontal relation. So if I were to click off the end here to finish this line, it's going to wind up with a relation. So what that means then is that I can oops, thought I exited all the way out of there. Apparently I did not. So let me get out of here and get rid of this one because we don't need that in there. There we go. All right, so if I grab this line, I can move this, and I can move it anywhere that I need it in length because I haven't done anything with it, and up and down. And it's not until, get rid of this line, I go up to my Smart Dimension tool here, it's not until I actually add a dimension that this line now becomes locked in place. And I say locked in place, it just means that I can't make this line, no matter where I grab it, I can't make it any longer, right? I can move it, but I can't do anything else with that. The same thing is going to happen when I dimension this line, and I will make that one 50 millimeters right there. Now, as we sketch in general, if we have a feature that is locked in either to the origin, as in it's coincident to the origin, it's got a relation to the origin, these lines, or whatever line is locked to that origin, it will turn black. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. So if I dimension from the origin to that corner, and then I dimension both horizontally and vertically, we'll make this one 15, just for giggles, you'll see now that I have a fully defined sketch, and that's because I've dimensioned horizontally and vertically on this rectangle, and then I gave it dimensions from the origin, so it locked everything in place. But watch what happens when I get rid of these dimensions here. You'll see that I still have two lines that are black, right? That means that they have a relation to the origin right here. I have a horizontal and a vertical distance, so it locks, and these two lines have relations attached to them as well. So it locks both of these lines into place, right? I can't do anything with it. I can't move that line to the left or the right, and I can't move this line up and down because this corner is locked into place. Now here, however, I can move these wherever I want because I don't have any dimensions locking them into place. So if I actually dimension this bottom line here, and I make that 100 millimeters, you'll see that my other line right here, it turned black as soon as I started to dimension it. And what that means now is that this line is now locked in place. I can no longer, I can't move this to the left or the right at all. It's completely locked in place. But I can, however, move this horizontal line up and down because I have not dimensioned this line or this line. And it doesn't matter which one I dimension. I can dimension that on either side and I will be good. So we'll make that one 50 millimeters again. And I am back to having a fully defined sketch. Now, let's just say that, you started sketching, you really weren't paying attention to the origin when you started. You want to have everything locked into our origin here. I can do, and this will actually lock it into place, I can, by clicking on that corner and then clicking on the origin, I can add a coincident relation to it, which locks it into the origin, and you'll see that I have a fully defined sketch once again. So we're going to keep that in mind as we go and we start drawing our tutorial 1. And it is generally a good practice that as you sketch in SolidWorks, that as you sketch, you try to, when you go to dimension, you dimension in the direction that you sketched in. All right, here's an example. So we're going to draw a horizontal line, and I'm just going to go out to approximately 100 millimeters. Doesn't have to be exact, but we want to be close. Don't get too carried away about it like it's got to be exact, because it doesn't. You just want to be close. And then we're going to go vertically up to about 20. And I'm just going to kind of zoom in here. And this often happens here when you're... All right, so I don't want an angle, so I'm going to do that. Undo that here real quick. And then we can start again. We're going to need a line that is approximately 20 millimeters, and then we're going to come down 13 according to our sketch from the textbook. We're going to come over 15 millimeters, go up about 8 millimeters. Again, doesn't have to be exact. We're going to come over about 30 millimeters, and then come down about 8, go over about 15. We're going to go up to here, come over, and then we're going to finish off our sketch by locking it into the origin right here, like so. Now, there are a few things that I can do to make my dimensioning easier as I go along, and I'll show you both ways as we do this. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to dimension. I'm going to have to add more dimensions on the way that I'm getting ready to show you. But here, we will dimension this to 100 millimeters. We are going to dimension this side to 20. And then this one is going to be 20 as well. And you'll see that as I'm dimensioning everything, all of my lines are starting to turn black as I go, which is a good sign. All right. And we're just adding everything in. 8 millimeters, and then we have 30 millimeters. And you'll see this one turn black, but it's not locked in, so I need to lock it in right here. Same thing with this right here, and then I have to do this line, and then I have, yep, and that actually gets me into a fully defined sketch at that point. So you see all the dimensions that I have in here right now. So that's one way, and you know, these are things that you pick up. I tell everybody that when you start sketching, find what works best for you, what you're comfortable with, and then as you get more comfortable with sketching in SolidWorks, you can actually you'll get faster and you'll know more shortcuts, things like that. But you know, get the basics down of sketching first and then go from there. All right, so a few things that I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier. I'm going to take this line and I'm going to hold the control button and I'm going to click this line and I'm going to make these two lines collinear, which puts them in line with each other. And then I'm going to click this line, hold control, and this line, and I'm going to make these collinear as well, okay? So now that I have my first line in here, it's already, you know, dimension. I didn't change anything. Watch what happens when I start dimensioning. So 20 millimeters. And then one other thing that I could have done is, as well, I can add here, I can also make both of these lines equal. And then when I dimension one, it will dimension the other one if it is off, like not exactly the same size. Now, we've already dimensioned this, obviously, so it is locked into place. But I'm going to do that, and then I can do this right here. I will make these two lines equal as well. And then we'll make that 15. And you'll see how all of these lines start turning black. The only one that is left blue that is not locked in is this one. And once I dimension this, I have a fully defined sketch and I am done. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is very first one. It's not very difficult, very quick to do, but again, one of the simpler or more basics of everything. This is just drawing and then dimensioning everything to where it is fully defined. And every sketch that you do needs to be fully defined at the end. So what we'll do now is we'll just go ahead and save our sketch as chapter 2. And we'll say tutorial 1. And hit enter, and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, hit me up in class or leave me a message down below and I will answer your question for you. Have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.